Canada oil sands plan collapses over politics and economics. A major effort to expand development of Canada's oil sands has collapsed shortly before a deadline for government approval, undone by investor concerns over oil's future and the political fault lines between economic and environmental priorities. 9 years in the planning, the project would have increased Canada's oil production by roughly 5%. But it would have also slashed through 24,000 acres of boreal forest and released millions of tons of climate-warming carbon dioxide every year. Some Canadian oil executives had predicted that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his cabinet would approve the project by a regulatory deadline this week, though with burdensome conditions. But in a letter released Sunday night, the Vancouver, British Columbia-based developer, Teck Resources, declared that there is no constructive path forward. The unexpected withdrawal relieves Trudeau of a choice that was sure to anger environmentalists or energy interests, if not both. Conservatives were quick to blame Trudeau for the loss of a project that they said would have created thousands of jobs and given an economic lift to the western province of Alberta, the hub of Canada's energy industry, which has suffered from low oil prices over the last 5 years. They suggested that the government felt pressure from weeks of protests by Indigenous groups opposing a natural gas pipeline, even though some Indigenous groups supported the Alberta project, known as the Frontier Mine. It is what happens when governments lack the courage to defend the interests of Canadians in the face of a militant minority, Alberta's Premier, Jason Kenney, said in a statement. The chief executive of Teck Resources, Don Lindsay, said in a letter to federal officials that global capital markets, investors and consumers were looking to governments to put a framework in place that reconciles resource development and climate change, in order to produce the cleanest products, something that he said does not yet exist here. While environmental concerns were part of government and company calculations, there was no guarantee that the Frontier project would have gone forward even if it gained final regulatory approval. Lindsay had said the company needed a deep-pocketed partner to help pay for the project, and higher oil prices. Canada supplies nearly 6 million barrels of oil a day, making it the world's number 4 producer and the biggest source of U.S. imports. The oil sands contribute over 60% of that output and are vital to the West's economy. Canadian output continues to grow because of investments made when global supplies were tighter. The oil sands are a watery mixture of sand and clay soaked with a dense, viscous form of petroleum known as bitumen. But in addition to being a fossil fuel, bitumen is difficult to extract, and for more on this story, visit the news article link.